A breakthrough in a recent drug bust, trade procedures to be enhanced, and a financial expert warns of disadvantages of new regulations on the credit union sector. I am Idona Jean-Baptiste with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up.
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
Time has come. Time for passion, for friends. Time to share. It's KFC cricket time. Live the ICC Cricket World Cup 2015 and gear up for greatness with KFC and Pepsi. Purchase your KFC Cricket Time meal with delicious chicken pieces, sides, and a refreshing Pepsi. And accumulate coupons to win a free Cricket World Cup inspired t-shirt. It's KFC Cricket Time. So good.
Beauty Wise on Hanover Street in Roseau carries a wide assortment of wigs and weaves, including Brazilian or Malaysian hair and Indian Remy in various lengths and styles, and Expression and 100% Canicolon for all your braiding needs. Beauty Wise offers hair products from African Pride, Revlon, and hair clippers for men in quality brands like Wall and Andes. Come to Beauty Wise for your intimates, hosiery, personal hygiene, and salon products, and a wide array of accessories in gold and silver. Beauty Wise, the wise one-stop shop for beauty supplies.
March Madness continues at courts with nothing down and absolutely nothing to pay until Mother's Day. Plus, mad deals all over the store. I tell you, deals upon deals upon deals, and all deals priced to go. You've got to be mad not to get yours, so get down to courts right now. Nothing to pay until Mother's Day. Plus, even madder deals every day. You just can't miss it. Courts, bringing value home.
First up in the news, police have caught the man whom they believe had escaped from a boat chase during the Biosh drug bust. Kevin Mason of Granby was arrested this week and charged for possession with intent to supply cocaine and marijuana. The estimated value of the drugs is over $142,000. Mason appeared before a Roseau Magistrate Court on Thursday, where he pleaded not guilty to all charges. He was denied bail primarily on the basis that he was already on bail for other offenses.
Remember, we told you that there was a substantial amount of drugs that were seized, the boat having crashed or ran aground on the rocks. A substantial amount of drugs of value over $142,000 Eastern Caribbean currency. But what is the point to note is that Mr. Mason, there were serious charges pending against him, cases pending against him, and was bailed for these offenses. And here it is, he has allegedly committed those serious offenses.
In our jurisdiction in criminal law, offenses fall under two categories: summary and indictable matters. Normally, if someone cannot plea at magistrate's court, this means that the offense is an indictable one to be tried before a judge and jury at the High Court.
Because you have indictable offenses where you're not required to plea. You have the summary matters, what we call it, the simple matters that are not indictable matters, but they will be dealt with at the magistrate level. There are offenses where you will be given an election. So some offenses as to whether you would like to be tried at the magistrate's court or the magistrate's level or the High Court. So for example, in drug matters and certain matters.
Mason allegedly jumped out of an open keel boat with two other men last Saturday night while being pursued by Coast Guard heading into the Biosh area. Both occupants were seriously injured when the boat crashed. As a result, Erickson Robert Blaise of Granby succumbed on his way to the Princess Margaret Hospital. The other man, Kieran Charles of Silver Lake, is a patient at the hospital under police watch. Wick says the investigations will not be complete until Charles is discharged to help police with investigations. In other developments, people doing transactions to ship and clear goods will soon find it easier to do so. This is due to a $1.4 million automated trade logistics project funded by the Australian government. Through this project, the International Financial Corporation has been providing technical assistance to government to simplify trade procedures and increase efficiency for clearing goods during imports and exports. A team from the IFC has been on island for the past week to evaluate implementation of the project.
Mainly why we do this is because we see trade facilitation or facilitating trade, making trade more efficient, making the procedure at the border less timely and less costly as being critical to facilitating the private sector. I'm sure you'd appreciate that every day a good is delayed at the border is a day that it cannot be on the shelf. And that really breaks down the cost of any red tape that an importer would face at the border.
The Dominica Bureau of Standards is the first government agency to roll out the automation tool. This system should also be implemented at the vet unit, plant quarantine unit, produce chemist lab, and fisheries division by the time it ends in June.
The automation tool was installed in April 2014 and live data exchange with customs began in the same month. Live processing of entries online began on the 27th of January 2015. Importers and brokers are no longer required to submit such documents as invoices and declarations to the Bureau. The software has eliminated the use of the application for consignment inspection form, which was basically the main document used for ensuring that the customs would know whether or not the consignment or the declaration was viewed or by the Bureau of Standards.
The Portsmouth, Roseau, Canefield, and Douglas Charles airports will be monitored, as well as the air cargo shed. This means importers and brokers will no longer need to physically come into the port office to process entries. All processes will be done online. In more news, stakeholders in the spa, health and wellness industry have been reminded of the need to raise the standard of service they provide, which is necessary for Caribbean and international certification.
Friday's Quality Spa Standards Workshop by the Dominica Spa Health and Wellness Association focused on offering quality service to customers.
There is a requirement for very high standards in the spa industry because on the international level, people are accustomed to quality. They're accustomed to a certain quality. And in Dominica and in the Caribbean, in CSME, we need to rise up to this level of quality so when people come from abroad, they are comfortable. And on the other hand, we want them to be safe. So safety is part of the standards. We want the service to be ethical. We want the workers to be ethical also in the delivery of service.
Dr. John says apart from ensuring that the services offered at spas meet sanitation standards, there is also the issue of ethics in terms of clients' personal records.
How do you treat a client and how do you not treat a client? How do you treat a client's documents? How do you not treat a client's documents? How do you treat a client who tell you something? There's confidentiality. So this we're going to be, learning. How do you treat a client's confidential information? How do you treat a client's financial information? What we can do, what we cannot do. So all this, we're going to train our members so that we can deliver international standards right here in Dominica.
Chief Executive Officer of the Discover Dominica Authority and Tourism Director Colin Piper says his department is looking at cricket as one of the niche markets for sports tourism on the island. Piper acknowledges that sports can boost visitor arrivals to the island.
And so we feel our association with cricket, in particular, because we know Caribbean people love cricket, might augur well for the destination in terms of not only sponsoring the team and having the awareness of Dominica sponsoring the Windwards team out there, but also the, try to provide assistance where we can for matches to be played here. Because when the matches are played here against good competition, then people will want to come see the cricket and the destination will benefit as a whole. So we are looking at areas where we have a comparative advantage. Do we have the facilities to host these sporting events where people can come and enjoy at an international standard?
Piper identifies the island's natural assets as another aspect that can be used to enhance sports tourism.
Such as the Waitikubuli National Trail, where you can run and hike the trail. And as I mentioned previously, we'll be hosting the 3rd annual Nature Island Challenge. And that will be part of what we're doing in terms of trying to promote the destination and also particularly in the area of sports tourism.
He says currently there is no existing policy for sports tourism.
We began by bringing in a consultant to just give us the beginnings of where we should go in terms of sports tourism. And the one thing I remember him saying is, where is your comparative advantage? If you do an audit of all the sporting activities, which can you host? And if you decide which you can host, then capitalize on those. And that's what we've done with cricket, because we can host, and with the natural assets in terms of our trails and whatnot, because we have that comparative advantage.
Coming up, how $250,000 can provide free glaucoma medication. Stay with us.
Fresher taste, fresh new look. Also available in original, wheat, brand oat, and multigrain. Rex makes it better.
Cashwiz is the one-of-a-kind pawn shop in Dominica. We'll trade all your old and used appliances for cash, grant loans applicable to the value of your vehicle and other appliances. A community service-oriented organization actively involved in building communities and empowering the young, while partnering with social groups for nation building. So come to Cashwiz Dominica on the corner of Stable Street and St. Johnson's Avenue, Pottersville, Roseau. Call us today at 440-5555. Check us out on Facebook or email dominica@cashwiz.com.
Hey, it's your boy Mr. Benji N2O, encouraging you to come support Dominica versus the BVI right here at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium for what we call the biggest World Cup qualifier ever. First game will be on Thursday, March 26. Game starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Game 2 gonna be on Sunday, March 29. Game starts at 5 p.m. Admission, $15 for adults and $5 for children under 12. You can't afford to miss this. Come support the Nature Island boys. Mr. Benji said so.
Shopping is a lot easier with Courts Ready Finance. Choose what you want from our wide range of quality products and we take care of the rest. Courts Ready Finance's affordability means there's no deposit. There's no need for a lump sum of cash. It's flexible, which means you choose your payment term and you're guaranteed the lowest monthly payments anywhere. Best of all, it's easy. Easy to get and easy to pay. Shop at Courts today and get what you want hassle-free. Courts Ready Finance. Easy, affordable, flexible.
An appeal for greater financial literacy in Dominica and the region as it relates to plans by the Canadian International Development Agency, CIDA, and the International Finance Corporation to set up a credit bureau for banks and credit unions in the region.
Managing Director of the Barbados-based Caribbean Credit Bureau Limited, Grady Clark, does not believe this move by CEDA and the IFC of the World Bank Group is in the best interest of the credit union movement in the region. Clark, who has held several financial workshops and forums in Dominica, says this is one of the areas in which credit unions need to promote greater financial literacy.
I believe that the playing field needs to be leveled, that the credit union should qualify for a credit bureau license. If the industry is going to be licensed, then let's make sure that we have one license for a credit bureau, because the Trinidad and Tobago Bankers Association already has an investment with TransUnion in Credit Reporting Services Limited. Now, you wouldn't want that company to offer services here and for the credit unions to be mandated to provide information to a credit bureau that has banking sector interest, right? Where the information will be backed up probably and reside in servers in Canada or Chicago, where data mining has occurred and there's evidence, and in fact, right, TransUnion has been fined in the United States by the federal regulator for data mining. So where you have a history of those unsavory practices occurring abroad, shouldn't we be aware of them and protect ourselves from them occurring here in this region and affecting our regional credit unions?
Clark believes financial literacy in Dominica should mirror that of Canada, where there are 2 curriculums used in the school system to ensure students are financially literate. He believes CEDA funding could be best utilized to fund financial literacy efforts through regional credit unions.
What we're suggesting is don't reinvent the wheel. Work with CEDA and others and the Canadian government, right, to introduce financial literacy in the schools, right? And we're urging the credit unions, right, to be the teachers. They are known and they have wide penetration here in Dominica. So by working with the credit union movement and providing that financial literacy and education, I think that we will serve the Dominican population and our financial services markets and infrastructure better.
Clark suggests that CEDA dollars could also be used to educate the region on the upcoming harmonized OACS credit reporting bill. He says people have a right to know how the legislation will impact them, and credit unions should be involved in the consultative process.
And I believe that, you know, sometimes if we look at what the proposed legislation is, develop a code of conduct, code of ethics, and implement that ahead of legislation, the market will be better served. And often, the need for legislation then becomes so minuscule, because we are already doing voluntarily, right, what the legislation intends to provide. So if we do it voluntarily, the cost to government is going to be less, because once you have laws and legislations and regulations, then you're going to need to have a regulator. You're going to hire more people to do it. But if voluntarily we adopt best practices like the credit unions already are planning to do, then, you know, we are going to be so much better off.
The Credit Union League is boasting of a remarkable growth in assets and membership. Credit union issues will take the spotlight at the first quarterly board meeting of the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions being hosted in Dominica. The Credit Union League's asset base is $630 million. These are the collective property of lenders who have loaned money from credit unions. 67,432 people are members of credit unions island-wide.
This year, growth is tremendous. Our asset grew by 9.1%. Membership, again, very constant, within 3% for the past 4 years. We have been growing our membership.
And finally, consultant ophthalmologist at the Princess Margaret Hospital is advocating for government to make an additional $250,000 available to allow for free glaucoma medication.
Dr. Hazel Shillingford-Ricketts says free medication for patients will eliminate the financial barriers to healthcare in health districts island-wide. She says this is just one of the proactive measures that can be taken to prevent loss of eyesight.
As it stands now, the medications, although they are provided at a cost price, but because they have to pay for it, that system of payment is only available at the central medical stores. So the patients throughout the island, they've got to come to Roseau to buy it. And this is another barrier that we are putting up for them. So I'm trying to reduce the barriers of having patients being able to access affordable care in order to control their disease.
Dr. Ricketts says if government increases its drug allocation funds, this could be possible.
The chief pharmacies have already researched, and it shows that the government will have to increase their drug allocations by about $250,000 every year. So it is a tidy sum for them, but as I showed in my lecture, best we invest that money now than we wait for the patients to go blind.
The doctor says presently opportunistic screening is how most cases of glaucoma are detected in Dominica.
Like now that I have had the glaucoma week, a number of persons will call and say, Doc, I want you to check me for glaucoma, or my mother have glaucoma, so I come in to check. So these awareness programs actually do make patients sit down and take stock. Well, when last did I check my eyes? Have I ever checked my eyes? And I would like to know my glaucoma status.
Risk factors of glaucoma are aging, race, family history, and elevated eye pressure. Other causes of glaucoma include serious eye injuries, steroids, and eye inflammation. Babies and children can also be affected with congenital glaucoma.
Up next in the Channel 5 News, your sporting highlights.
First up in cricket sports, after day one of the final round in the WICB 4-day tournament, the Windward Island Volcanoes have set themselves a solid foundation. Battling first after being sent to the crease, Volcanoes openers Devon Smith and Tyron Theophile shared a 1-3-1 run partnership before Theophile was caught on 58 before lunch. Windwards ended on a high note on Friday. Matches continue Saturday at 10 a.m. In girls football, the Dominica Football Association is reporting growth in women's football since collaborating with the sports division to organize the annual secondary school girls football tournament. The league kicked off Thursday at the Baffin State Playing Field. Youth officer of the DFA met with Channel 5 Sports on Friday.
The program started about 3 years ago, and we can say that we have definitely seen the improvement in women's football due to that program. And we intend to continue the program. We intend to also build a better foundation in that. What we intend to do in the near future is to look at under 13s and under 15s. So we'll be getting into the primary school later this year, and looking at under 13s and also an under 15 league, so that will further enhance the development of the girls, so that by the time they get into the high school, they'll be better equipped to compete.
Joseph added that overall improvement in the quality of women's football on the island can be expected. In fact, at the senior national level, rewards are being recognized, and so the importance of the school's program cannot be underestimated.
This is very important because these are the girls that we expect to make our national team, and we are definitely proud so far of what has been happening in terms of the girls' football. As we speak, the national team has several of these girls who started 3 years ago playing for their high schools and so on. So this program has definitely bear fruit already, and we're just looking to continue to develop the program and continue to whatever we can to make it a little better year by year.
In the first game of the season, Dominica Grammar School hammered Pierre Charles Secondary 7-0, Romelsia Phillip 4, Elijah Tit 2, and Naomi Defo 1 were the goal scorers. Next up in cricket, one more spot remains vacant in the semi-final round of the 2015 ICC World Cup, and the West Indies are looking forward to being that final holder. So far, South Africa, India and Australia have secured their spot in the next round, and the winner of Saturday's 4th Super 8s match will meet South Africa Monday at Eden Park, Auckland. Australia and India will play at SCG Sydney next Wednesday. The West Indies take on New Zealand on Saturday after not enjoying a very bright season. Can they survive to see another round of competition, or will the Windies 2015 World Cup campaign end before the weekend? We'll just have to wait and see. Next up in street football, qualifying games in the Guinness Street Football Tournament have been postponed for the next 3 weekends. Zone 2 matches will cover the south of the island and will be played on April 12 following. According to one of the league's organizers, Elvis Clifton, the tournament will break to facilitate other sporting activities over the next 2 weekends and Easter weekend. So far, 3 teams from the East have secured spots in the next round. Young Rockets, Young G Made FC and Team Kentos Unity topped the first qualifier last Sunday at La Plaine. 5 teams participated in that qualifier. Teams are once again being encouraged to register early, as there is no guarantee that showing up on game day will allow a team to play. And in softball, Thursday saw a high-scoring encounter between Jolly's Pharmacy and Domlec Sports Club in the 2015 Gifford Toussey Big Edge Financial Express Softball League. Jolly's beat Domlec by 46 runs after posting 21 for 9 and bowling out Domlec for 175. Games continue this weekend around the island. Heston Charles has more.
We are also pleased to announce matches for the remainder of the weekend and the following week. We have a match scheduled for Sunday evening at the Mao playing field. We have a rematch of the semi-finals of last season, Dasper versus Marina Blaster in Zone A at the Mao playing field. That is on Sunday evening from 6 p.m. and on Tuesday evening, that is March 24th, again at the Mao playing field. That will prove to be a very interesting encounter. L&O versus BF Inc. Mao. These 2 teams are basically from the same community, the Mao community, and that match will prove to be a very interesting match in the Big Edge Gifford Softball Tournament. Also on Wednesday, the 25th of March, we will see the undefeated Sports Division coming up against Cornell, who is a very experienced team. They have a very experienced component to them. They have the likes of Russell Monroe and Gregory and Sam. These guys are experienced campaigners, and so this match will prove to be a very interesting match, taking in consideration the Sports Division team has the benefit of national players like Ray Kazimi, Vincent Kazimi, and the likes. That match is scheduled for 6 p.m. at the Mao playing field on Wednesday evening. Also on Tuesday evening, on the 26th of March, Marina Blasters again will come in action against the Domlec Sports Club from 6 p.m. at the Mao playing field, and that is in Zone A. These are the matches scheduled in the Big Edge Gifford Toussey Softball Tournament. Heston Charles reported.
And in rounders, the National Rounders League title could return to the Southeast this weekend or travel to the Kalinago territory. 2014 finalists KT United and informed Stowe and Co hard hitters will hit the Mao playing field on Sunday in the final of the 2015 National Rounders League. KT United defeated the St. Joseph Phoenix by 79 runs in their semi-finals match last Sunday.
The weather report is next.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. Earlier satellite imagery showed some low-level clouds lingering to the east and south of the Lesser Antilles, with Dominica reporting partly cloudy to cloudy skies today. Radar imagery indicated some shower activity mainly to the east and south of the Lesser Antilles and in the interior of Dominica, mainly during the afternoon period. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few scattered showers, with temperatures down to 24 degrees Celsius on the coastline. Similar conditions are expected tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers, mainly during the morning period. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water, with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea beavers should continue to exercise caution. For the next 3 days, expect occasional cloudiness and scattered showers across Dominica, with light winds out of the east near 30 kilometers per hour. For the remainder of the Caribbean, weak unstable conditions will continue to produce occasional cloudiness and scattered showers, mainly across the southern portion of the island chain. For the international cities forecast, partly cloudy skies in New York, Caracas, and Beijing, with clear skies in Miami and overcast conditions in London. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:09 a.m. and set at 6:17 p.m. Thank you for viewing and feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or the weather hotline at 447-5555. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. A breakthrough in a recent drug bust, trade procedures to be enhanced, and a financial expert warns of disadvantages of new regulations on the credit union sector. Feel free to send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Idona John Baptist. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.